4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, what have we learned this season from these two formations? What are some of the pros? What are some of the cons? Do we have the personnel for it? What do we do moving forward? Stay tuned for the whole video and let's dig deep into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the other side of the coin. Now, this whole topic, this formational topic between 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3 has been in everyone's mouth in recent times, especially in social media for the Chelsea fan base community. And it's timely we talk a little bit about this and realize, why did we start off with the 4-2-3-1 and now slowly sort of seeing ourselves transitioning into 4-3-3? Is it because of the personnel that it didn't work in the 4-2-3-1? And I suppose it's now working towards 4-3-3 with the kind of players that we have. But let's delve a little bit deeper into this. First of all, let's look into this 4-2-3-1. We started off with 4-2-3-1 this season. And honestly speaking, I personally thought our team had the characteristics of carrying out the 4-2-3-1 as opposed to 4-3-3, because I just thought that the players that we have, are far suited to that style, the 4-2-3-1, even though I suppose at the end of last season, we saw some snippets of the 4-3-3 and it showed how it could work. But I just thought that we didn't have the personnel ready for 4-3-3. And with Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek also gone on loans, I just thought we perhaps don't have that in us. But nonetheless, we started off with a 4-2-3-1 and very quickly we realized the flaws in this particular formation, which is that our midfield was just getting eaten up left, right and center by our opposition. Every match up until Krasnodar in the second half, where there was 30 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go, something like that, where we changed from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3. Every single match, I could see that our midfield was getting dominated. And it was because of the pivot of either Kante or Jorginho, or Kante or Kovacic, or Jorginho or Kovacic. It didn't matter who it was. At the end of the day, I felt like the personnel that we had for the pivot was not good enough to basically combat in this particular level. The people that we have at the moment are not suited to play double pivot within themselves, with each other. Basically, they need a particular player, a different style of player that needs to play with them in order to fit that whole double pivot system. So, for example, if we were to get, let's say, Declan Rice, or there's a lot of talk that's happening about, I believe, Dennis Zakaria. If we get that type of a caliber of player, then you can have someone like Kante next to them, or Jorginho next to them, or Kovacic next to them, and that double pivot could work because the other player, Declan Rice or Zakaria, would actually sit deep, would be a holding midfielder, allowing the other one to, whenever they want to bomb up or come backwards or whatever the case is, giving them the freedom. Whereas the players that we have right now, which is Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, none of them are disciplined enough to sit deep. They all have this sort of, in their nature to drive forward, which ultimately then hurts us in midfield, where the midfielders, the opposition midfielders outnumbers us in the double pivot during counters or even during press. And it also hurts us in the build-up as well, where as soon as the opposition sort of marks our double pivot players, Kante, Jorginho, or Kante, Kovacic, or Kovacic, Jorginho, we don't have an outlet for the build-up. So it hurts us a lot. And I suppose the other reason we might have used the 4-2-3-1 is to accommodate Kai Havertz. I guess in the early stages of the season, we thought Kai Havertz's best position is the number 10 position where he can roam around. But in the last few matches, we've started to see that he definitely has the quality to be a number 8, and he definitely has the work rate and the defensive ability to play out that particular role and be up and down that channel, basically flanking one of the holding midfielders. So overall, the double pivot really didn't work because I feel the personnel wasn't right. We don't have a Matic type of player. We don't have a Mikel type of player that we had in previous times. And also, you need a Mikel type or a Matic type to then be partnering someone like Cesc Fabregas, who's got that ball playing, that passing ability. We don't always have that combination. Yes, Jorginho is a very good passer, but he doesn't have that Fabregas style of passing where he finds those key passes that leads to goals. Jorginho is more of a side to side. Kante definitely doesn't have that. Kovacic as well doesn't always have that. He's more of a driver of the ball, and then he can pass it wherever he wants. So that's a little bit about 4-2-3-1, why it didn't work. I think predominantly we wanted to play with Kai Havertz and allow him to settle down. But now let's get towards the 4-3-3, which is interesting. As soon as Ziyech got fit for us and started playing for us in the 2 starts, one against Krasnodar, very quickly in the Krasnodar match in the second half, where there was 30 minutes to go, so we switched to a 4-3-3. Kante came on and he was the holding midfielder, and Ziyech was out on the right. Kai Havertz was one of the number 8s, and Mason Mount was the other one flanking the holding midfielder. And yeah, we went with attacking 8, holding midfielder, and 3 up front. So straight away we looked so much more better in midfield. We weren't getting dominated against Krasnodar, which we were in the first half. We were getting dominated by all the other teams that I've mentioned previously in 4-2-3-1. But straight away, we looked so much more commanding. Our build-up was a lot stronger, with the focal point being Kante in the middle, with Kai Havertz dropping deep. Mount can drop deep. Even Ziyech has the ability to drop deep and help out in the build-up. And it was allowing for a lot more, the pressure was off our midfielders. And Kante, being in that midfield, was just playing the simple passes, just laying it off to Mason Mount, or laying it off to Kai Havertz, or laying it off to Ziyech, and basically allowing them to express themselves. And he definitely played, he stayed disciplined, and he played it to its utmost level, I suppose. And then against Burnley, we finally got to see it from the get-go, the 4-3-3, and straight away we looked so much more comfortable. That entire match, Burnley did not trouble us one bit, except for that one time in the first half. I think in the first 10 minutes, a long ball came in and just above Zuma. But besides that, our midfield dominated theirs, our forwards dominated. We absolutely snuffed out everything, and it was mainly because of Kante staying deep. And I think him now playing as a holding midfielder, and I suppose knowing that he needs to just, it's a defined role. He doesn't have that freedom to just bomb up what he was doing in a double pivot, which sometimes would leave us very empty at the back and exposing the centre backs. Now, being in the defensive midfield role, he just, I believe, Frank has given him the instruction to just stay deep and just stay just in front of the CBs and just play the simple passes. Allow players like Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Ziyech to control that midfield and build up and really take our attacking sense to the next level, which is what we saw against Burnley. And I guess with the likes of Mendy and Thiago Silva now marshalling our defense, the 4-3-3 is a lot better system at the moment, as opposed to the 4-2-3-1, which sacrifices a midfielder like Mason Mount, which is very crucial for us in the 4-3-3. So, with Kai Havertz and Mason Mount being such workers and such great work rate, with Ziyech as well dropping deep and having such great work rate, it allows our midfield to be so dynamic in this particular system. So overall, guys, I know Burnley was definitely not the caliber of team that we can sort of judge the 4-3-3 on, but I feel the foundation, the basic foundation has been built in terms of defense and offense. As I said, 4-3-3 allows that holding midfielder to sit just in front of the CBs, protecting them, allowing the fullbacks to bomb up, which we have at the moment with Reece James or even Azpilicueta and Chilwell. They all like to go up and overlap, and having that holding midfielder just keeps us safe in counters and even in press when we get pressed heavily. And as I said, with build-ups as well. So guys, moving forward, I think this is the formation to go with. We even saw up front, with players like Tammy Abraham, who played against Burnley, he was dropping deep as well. And then the 4-3-3 becomes even more dynamic with Ziyech and Werner able to hit the half spaces. Basically, Tammy Abraham playing like a false 9 when he drops deep and then has the ability to link up. His goal, the goal that Ziyech scored where he just lays it off, that's the kind of stuff that we are able to do under a 4-3-3, which allows our midfield and our attack to be so dynamic. So guys, overall, I think, going forward, I think the 4-3-3 is going to be tried. Obviously, we're going to be tested massively when we come against bigger teams, but that's where you have to balance things out, I suppose. When one of the fullbacks goes up, the other fullbacks has to check themselves. If one of the attacking aides go up, then the other one has to sort of balance themselves. So there's a lot to still learn, but I feel the foundation has been built now for the 4-3-3. It's exciting times. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you want to still see the 4-2-3-1? Do you think we have the personnel for it? Or do you want to now start seeing the 4-3-3 with the kind of players that we have? And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a good interaction about it. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.